He'll be over that by now. He's fully focused on the next event. He'll be in with Bono and the engineering team, working on the setup in preparation, and I'm sure that he'll bounce back strong.
Hey everyone, I'm Olivia, and today I'm joined by Shov answering all your questions from the Austrian Grand Prix on this week's Akkodis Debrief. Shov, a bit of a tricky one for us in Austria. How do you summarize it from your end?
Well, as you say, it wasn't the easiest race weekend. We had some issues in qualifying. Car wasn't quick enough, so getting through to Q3 with both drivers was quite a challenge. We then missed the flag with Kimi, which is annoying because he could have started further up the grid. And then in the race, well, fundamentally, the pace wasn't there anyway. We were really struggling in those conditions. And then obviously Kimi had that unfortunate incident with Max, which took them both out early on. So there's a lot for us to get stuck into this week. We've got a very short break before we're in Silverstone, and we'll be busy working on all those. But we've had difficult races before, and we've had races where we bounce back strongly. So that's what we're hoping to do.
And you mentioned the conditions a bit. One of our first fan questions is saying that we do seem to struggle a little bit when there's higher track temperatures. Why is that? And specifically, does it have anything to do with the tires?
Well, yeah, it's no secret. We haven't been good at the very hot races. Saying that, Montreal was reasonably hot, but the nature of that circuit suits us. So the track there was 50 degrees. We were able to win the race, but it's very much helped by the fact that the corners are slower, there's less energy in them. It's also a newer tarmac. So there's plenty that we need to be working on. It's definitely linked to the tyres. You know, Pirelli tyres like to be cool. At the moment, we look to be running them hotter than some of our competition, particularly hotter than McLaren. We're always developing in that area, but as is everyone else. But we're just trying to learn as quick as we can. We're changing lots of things from track to track. That gives us clues as to where we want to focus our effort next, but that is an area that there's a big push. We're not where we need to be, but we're not going to stop until we get there.
And we've got Silverstone just around the corner. Is there anything that we can do to tackle the overheating before then?
Well, there were actually a couple of issues in Austria. So it wasn't just overheating. Some of our problems in qualifying were early on in the lap, in some of the slow corners. Now we're not really overheating there, and we were losing a chunk of time. So yes, we're working on tyre temperatures, understanding what we can do with the setup of the car and how we run it. But we'd also look at Austria and say that the car wasn't in the right place in terms of the setup. The balance was quite tricky. We were struggling with brake locking in some corners. We were struggling with stability in others. And in recent races, we've changed quite a bit how we've been running the car. That philosophy we carried into Austria. Clearly, it didn't work very well. So as I said, there's the temperature issue, but on top of that, we've got to get the car in a better place. And I'm optimistic we can make some progress for Silverstone because we were reasonably strong there. We've got a good benchmark from last year in terms of the setup. And that's what we're going to be trying to understand to work out what's the best place to start on Friday when we're in FP1.
And Kimi obviously didn't have the race that he wanted, but overall, how is he handling it? Is he okay?
Kimi will be fine. He was very disappointed after the race and embarrassed to have made a mistake that ultimately took Max out as well. Now he'll get a penalty for that. He held his hand up. He wasn't pretending it was anyone else's fault. He's got that grid penalty in Silverstone, but he's going to have to put that to the back of his mind and just focus on qualifying as far up the grid as possible, getting the car set up for qualifying, getting it set up for the race. But he'll be over that by now. He's fully focused on the next event. He'll be in with Bono and the engineering team, working on the setup in preparation, and I'm sure that he'll bounce back strong.
And on to the strategy. So we did a medium, hard strategy. Was that the plan from the beginning, or was it in response to the conditions?
It was broadly the plan from the beginning, but there are a few things that can apply to any race that you're at. One is that when you're choosing your last stint tyre, you often want that to be the hardest. And the reason you do that is if there's a safety car, it's the one that gives you the most coverage to get to the end. So that's one factor that would always push you to fitting a hard tyre at the end of the race, assuming it's a good tyre. Now, medium and hard here were very similar in performance. So from the point of view of how fast you're going to be going, pace, degradation, from that perspective, they were very similar. The soft didn't look great. That was dropping off quite rapidly. So we weren't keen on trying that at any point in the race, really. That would have only featured for a very late safety car. And then the other thing that applies generally is if you don't know it's a one stop or a two stop, certainly the first and the second compound should be different. So if we'd gone, if we thought it might be a one, we might have gone medium hard because we could then run to the finish. But on the basis of our first stint, we were pretty certain that it wasn't going to be a one stop for us.
And will we have more updates to come to tackle the heat?
Well, we're not finished with W16 yet, so there's still developments that are in the pipeline. Now, obviously, with the regulation change coming for next year, our focus has shifted onto the W17, trying to make sure that that's a good car. So a lot of work going on there. But there's still plenty we can do with the W16, and the best place to learn is at the racetrack. That's where you get a real clear idea of whether you're going in the right direction or whether you've taken a wrong turn. So we'll particularly focus on any elements that can bring performance to this year that would also carry over to next year. So, in summary, not done yet. There's more stuff coming around the summer break, and we'll be working hard on this car to try and get some good results through to the end of the year.
And final question, what are the key takeaways looking forward to the next race?
Some of the problems of Austria were quite specific, both to the temperatures there and also the way we were setting up the car and how it works around that circuit. Now, Silverstone's quite a different challenge. The track's got even faster corners. It's likely to be quite a bit cooler, and the setup that you need there and the challenges that it presents for the tyres are quite different. So whilst we want to understand Austria, we need to make sure that we're getting the right focus, the engineering team and the drivers focus on what we're going to be faced with in the next few days. And also, it's obviously a home Grand Prix for the team. The chassis are made so close to the circuit, as are the power units. There'll be a lot of the staff there. And then it's also the big home race for George. So we'll be working really hard. It's a fantastic event. We're looking forward to it. And hopefully, as I said, we can bounce back strongly.